6 months in, first wipe done. What can I say? Well, the journey has been interesting. I'm glad to have shared it with two of my really good friends, Lord Prasad and Chili Sauce Gaming. We've had our ups, we've had our downs, but I think we've learned quite a bit. We've understood a lot of the game, a lot of the mechanics, and hopefully going into the next wipe, we'll be able to probably apply some of those. Granted, we do have some communication issues nonetheless, but a lot less TKs, a lot more memes, and hopefully that's going to be the way forward. Hey everyone, this is Ike3012, and this is a summary of our first wipe in Escape from Tarkov. Right, let's take a look at the stats now for the wipe, the first wipe. This footage is taken just about 10 hours before the actual wipe goes through. Now, one of the milestones we actually set all the way in the beginning is like, hey, you know what we're gonna aim for? We're gonna aim for a thick items case, because that's like a benchmark. You need to get all the right items, you need to get all the way up to level 35. But the economy, the way it was this wipe, kind of made things, I guess, new player friendly in a way, because we were able to get a whole bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of money. The flea market was fully broken. And managed to push past our actual benchmark, our actual goal for the wipe, and moved over into something else. As you can see, skills wise, almost got my first mastery at endurance, just a couple of points short. Strength nowhere near. Metabolism, of course, we were eating like crazy because we were staying in raids for so long. But yeah, assault rifles most used, sniper rifles primarily just for the quest to get that part done. With a lot of factory nighttime raids. Throwables, use grenades pretty late in the wipe, so that's something that's going to take forward. As you can see, covert movement was level 17. The first 3 months of the wipe, we ratted our way through the entire map, sticking to edges, crouch walking most of the way, but we learned after that what we need to do and map layouts and stuff. Hideout management wasn't that great, but getting there. As you can see, a lot of the tasks we actually were able to complete and get through. Kind of got stuck on shooter part 7, but that's alright, as well as a grenadier. Like I said, started using grenades relatively late in the wipe, but that's gonna change going forward. Managed to kill all the scab bosses before the event, putting all of them in one map. But one of the things which I was personally really proud of is Shooter Born in Heaven. Being the first wipe, managed to get all 3 done on reserve, all 3 done on customs, 2 on shoreline, and none on woods. Woods was probably our least played map, which is something that I was having a chat with the guys, saying that that's something that we need to kind of concentrate on going forward, because that's going to be important. As you can see from the overall stats, just under 900 hours of the game. Most of the 714 raids were scavs, so that's again something that's going to change going forward. What else? Just over 6 months of game time. As you can see, ran a lot through the raids. I'd have to say that I was pretty proud of the number of PMC kills that we were able to get, especially the higher levels, like level 30 plus, because these are people that actually know what they're doing in the game, as well as a couple of close to level 70s, which was awesome. Quite a few scab boss kills. My longest shot was 389 meters, and surprisingly, that was actually a headshot on customs, trying to hit the sniper scab on one of the towers. Majority of the kills were with shotguns and assault rifles. Shotguns because they're so easy to use for new players. But towards the end, we kind of moved more to DMRs, because that M61 round, along with the versatility of the DMRs, was something that was Quite awesome for us to actually get a hold of and get used to using. So that's probably something we're going to even look at pushing forward into the next wipe, assuming we can get a hold of the guns and the right ammo and things like that. So yeah, just under 900 hours of the game, and yeah, let's see what all we learned. How Escape from Tarkov is different, and one of the fundamental mechanics which you need to kind of learn is something called point firing. Now, it's very different from hip firing from most FPS games, where hip firing is actually extremely inaccurate. In Escape from Tarkov, it's more realistic. So if you're pointing in the right direction and you take a shot, chances are you're going to hit dead center if you can manage your recoil well enough. Point firing is something that we took a long time to get used to, coming from most shooters like Call of Duty and stuff where you need to ADS. So retraining the muscle memory not to have to ADS when you spot someone and stop fire before you're having to ADS was really important for us, and something we needed to pick up. Another thing we kind of had to figure out was zoning and positioning. Most games, grenades are used as lethal deterrents, right? In Escape from Tarkov, of course, they can be extremely lethal, but it's also great for zoning. If you know that there are some guards or raiders or scav boss minions or whatever in different locations, you can kind of bait them out by throwing grenades, because one, it gives you an audio cue of where they are, and it even moves them. It gets them to move from one location where you probably don't have sight on into another location. In this instance, Lord Prasad was pretty badly hit by a couple of scav boss minions. Throwing a nade on one side, pushing them out of location, helping him get to cover, heal up. Then I come in from the other side, give him some cover, ask him to push back, and kind of say, look, I'm going to hold this angle, you heal up. And then the nades kind of pushed them into our line of sight and was able to get an easy kill. There you see me throwing grenades again, just to try and listen out for more scav boss minions, whether they were around us or not. The cool thing is we even started playing more maps. I guess because of the tasks, we were stuck on customs for quite a long time and then the shoreline, but we started moving around the game and exploring all the different maps. Now, like I said in the beginning, Woods was our least played map. Something that's going to change going forward, we do need to get a lot more familiar with the middle part of Woods, going up to Sniper Rock, Spine, the Lumber Mill. I mean, the only reason we went there was just to kill the Scav boss in the first place, you know, otherwise we were just sticking to the outsides of the map to get Scav kills or, you know, stuff like that done. Shoreline was a very interesting map. We had some intense firefights over there. Some of them which were not so nicely done, and we just managed to survive just out of sheer luck and not because of anything to do with skill. But again, one of those maps which is open, you have lots of long lines of sight. It can be super close quarters as well if necessary. Now the cool thing you saw over there, teamwork. I was pinned down, I took a bunch of damage, I called out for help. You see Chili Sauce rushing in after I said I've downed the enemy, and he's covering me on the right side in case another player popped up from behind us. Fortunately, in this clip, he did manage to get popped by another player, third player, who's inside the office building already. But again, that's just one of the things with the game, right? Just gotta roll with it, I guess. We've learned to have fun in the game, which is quite awesome actually, rather than, I mean, I'm the serious one in the group. I take things a little too literal, but Lord and Chili Sauce kind of balance things out. We even ran into labs. All I have to say is labs is probably going to be one of the last things we kind of tackle in this game, because let's just say our first labs run was all of 30 seconds. Like, I didn't even see this guy just like, you know, pop his head out from the corner over there. I've literally got my gun trained in that direction, and I'm like, hey, you know, can he come from there? Because I heard some audio cues, and there he is. There was his head right there. He took a shot, missed completely, and I was just like, all right, you know, I need to try and reposition, you know, and see what happens. And again, mistakes are made, right? So I repositioned back into a good enough space. I've learned again that there's another way you can ADS this angle as well, but yeah, come back, push back, hold the angle over there, see him take some damage. Now this is where I make a mistake because he knows where I am, right? What I should have done is move to the left side of the box instead of peek the right, or push up a bit so he wouldn't expect it. But what I do is I peek the same angle, right? And that's the worst thing you can do in this game. That's something we've learned as well. And because of that, he knows exactly where I am. So all he had to do was just strafe all the way out and just pop a couple of rounds, and that was it. Ended my 30-second lab run. Yeah, that's all right. It happens. We learn. Yeah, another one of the things we've learned in the game is positioning, or should I say repositioning, more than anything else, because yes, you get into an initial part of a firefight. There's Lord Prasad, holding an angle while I heal up. Unfortunately, he dies. Now, I could have gone and held his angle, but what I decided to do is make a bunch of noise, run around the place, because we can hear multiple footsteps, right? This was a 3-man. I run out to the top. They know I've gone up there, so they try nading me out. They throw things around. I'm trying to listen out for audio cues and stuff like that, and then I hear there's a guy inside the building, the guy that killed Lord Prasad, so managed to drop him over there. But old me would have just stayed in this one spot. But that's not how we're supposed to do it. Not an Escape from Tarkov. Reposition. So move to a different flanking angle, because I knew there were people outside, there were people inside. This position kind of still gave me ops into the inside of the dome, but at the same time, if the guy I killed told his friend where I am, this guy is going to be rolling up thinking I'm in that same angle. Didn't even know I was where I was. I hid, so just in case he checked, and I ended up getting a quick kill over there. We've even managed to try and use certain mechanics that we've learned, like point firing, checking lines of sight before we roll up, and that's kind of helped us not only gain experience into what we should and shouldn't be doing, but also understanding where players could possibly be. Like in this scenario where there were 2 players. First player ADS, second player no time, point fire, managed to get a nice quick easy 2-piece. Now here's the cool thing, I've taken damage. You see Lord and Chili Sauce go up, and they're literally holding 2 different angles in case there's a third person that I didn't know about, right? Towards the end of any wipe cycle, there are always events, and this time was no different. They ended up nuking the economy by destroying the Bitcoin farm, and then I guess enough people complained, and they said, you know what, guys, work for it. Go get a friendly PMC, friendly scab to come in, extract, and we'll give you $100,000 in game, which you can then use. But what this event also did was show how scabs don't need to kill each other the minute they see each other. They're scabs. Here you can see there are like 6 of us or 7 of us literally just running around the map, because we went looking for a friendly PMC. I guess it was pretty late in this raid. Didn't find anyone, so we were like, hey, you know what, all of us are together, let's try and make something happen, and see if we can run around and find some loot together, or kill a scab boss or something or the other. And this was during the fog event, so it did make things pretty difficult to see. So even if there was a non-friendly player around, I mean, I can just imagine looking through the scope of his gun, he can just see 6 or 7 scabs who are definitely players just running around. Yeah, you can see just making hand gestures like, hey, dead body, go pick it up, go check it out. Let's loot around, let's scoot around, let's see what happens. This was, I would say, one of the most fun times we've had as a scab, just being able to work with players, because you can't really talk to them. There's no wife in the game. But it was a lot of fun, I have to say. So, new wipe is in a couple of hours. We're ready to download, ready to get online, ready to get into it, have an understanding of what tasks we need to do. Still gonna take the game through its paces, figure things out and see how it goes. But more so, playing this first wipe has taught us not only the different mechanics that are there in the game, different maps, you know, spawn points where certain elements are. Now I'm sure with the patch there's definitely a whole bunch of changes that have come along with it, and that's something that we are going to have to relearn. But the core fundamentals that we've been able to pick up in this game, such as looting, you know, how to loot quickly, how to like get to cover, how to watch flanks, how to communicate more often than not, because we pretty much play in a group all the time. Where certain loot spawns possibly are, where certain spawn spots are possibly where players could be coming in from, right? All of that's super important information that's going to help us hopefully progress a lot more in this wipe, a lot quicker in the wipe. But also, we're not going to waste time ratting around. We're not going to waste time crouch walking. And I guess a benchmark for that's going to be at the end of this current wipe, or should I say the next current wipe, is covert skill. And see, and just do a comparison. I'll come back to this video and see what my covert skill level is, because it's gonna, all I know is that the last month or so of the game, we were running around, you know, because we had an idea of what we needed to do. Certain people had certain tasks, whether it was killing scab bosses, whether it was killing raiders, whether it was going and finding different items. All of that is something that we've been able to pick up, and it's something that we're going to probably progress with going forward. Now, with all that out of the way, thank you so much for watching. If you learned anything or you just want to support the channel, support me and my buddies, drop a like on the video, sub to the channel. It's not going to cost anything, and it really helps us out. We're going to see you in the next wipe, you know, and it's going to be awesome. We're going to be streaming a lot more on Twitch. So for me, it's going to be Ike3012, Chili Sauce will be Chili Sauce Gaming on Twitch. And I'm going to be posting a lot more on YouTube because it's something that we find a lot of fun. Thank you once again, and I'll see you next time.